Magandang buhay mga bata! Tara, samahan ninyo akong matuto kasama si
Teacher Aika, your online teacher. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell for more videos. Thank you! Matatag Curriculum, English, Grade 5, Quarter 1, Lesson 2. Our topic for today is about sound devices and figures of speech. This is Teacher Aika, your online teacher. Let's start! Learning competencies and objectives. Recognize sound devices and figures of speech used in a selection. The learners will be able to first, define the following sound devices and figures of speech used in literary text: onomatopoeia, alliteration, assonance and consonance, simile, metaphor, and personification. Second, identify onomatopoeia, alliteration, assonance, consonants, similes, metaphors, and personifications used in a selection. Day 1. Let's have first a short review. Activity: what's that sound? Class, I will show you pictures of animals, people, and machines that make sounds. Your job is to look at each picture, say what it is, and tell the sound it makes. Here's the next batch of pictures. Guide questions. 1. What would the world look or feel like if there are no sounds? 2. Why do you think sounds are important? 3. What other sounds coming from nature and machine do you know? Class, do you remember our discussion yesterday about the sounds made by animals, people, and machines? Today, I want to share something interesting. The sounds we hear from nature and man-made things like a dog's bark, a bell's ding-dong, or a car's broom can also be found in stories, poems, and other kinds of literature. These sound words are called onomatopoeia. Writers use onomatopoeia to help us imagine the sounds and feel like we're really there in the story. It's one of the creative ways authors make their writing more fun and exciting. So, the next time you read and see words that sound like real sounds, remember, it's onomatopoeia. Instructions. Different tongue twister scenes will be flashed on the screen. Students will take turns in reciting each tongue twister without committing mistakes. Let's try. She sells seashells by the seashore. The shells she sells are seashells, I'm sure. So if she sells seashells on the seashore, then I'm sure She sells seashore shells. How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? Betty Butter. Betty Butter bought some butter, but she said, "The butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. But a bit of better butter, that would make my butter better." Guide questions. What did you notice about the tongue twister pieces? What similarities can you pinpoint as regards the vowel and consonant sounds in each tongue twister pieces? Unlocking content vocabulary. Match the figures of speech in column A with their corresponding descriptions in column B. Write the capital letter of the correct answer in the blank provided. 1. Alliteration. Answer: F. Repeating the same starting sounds in nearby words. 2. Hyperbole. Answer: D. A big exaggeration to show strong feeling. 3. Simile. Answer: A. Comparing two things using like or as. 4. Personification. Answer: C. Giving human traits to non-human things. 5. Metaphor. Answer: B. Saying something is something else to compare them. 6. Assonance. Answer: G. Repeating vowel sounds in nearby words. 7. Consonants. Answer: H. Repeating consonant sounds usually at the end of words. 8. Onomatopoeia. Answer: E. Words that sound like what they mean. Example: buzz, clang. Day 2. Figures of speech. What is figures of speech? A figure of speech is when we use words in a special way to make our language more interesting or to create a certain effect. Figures of speech make language more colorful and engaging. It is like adding a special touch to what we say or write to make it more creative and fun, thus creating an impact. We can find figures of speech not just in stories and poems, but also in greeting cards, advertisements, newspaper, headlines, and even in the way people talk about sports, music, and other topics they are passionate about. Kinds of figures of speech. Metaphor. A metaphor compares two unrelated things by saying that one thing is another, even if it's not literally true. Example, it's raining cats and dogs. This does not mean real animals are falling. It means it's raining very hard. Key idea: a metaphor helps us picture something in a fun and creative way. More examples. 1. My little brother is a tornado when he plays. 2. This classroom is a freezer. 3. Her smile is sunshine on a rainy day. Simile. A simile compares two things using the words like or as. Example, they fought like cats and dogs. This means they argued or fought a lot. Key idea: similes help us understand things better by comparing them to something we already know. More examples. 1. He swims like a fish. 2. The baby is as soft as cotton. 3. She danced like a butterfly in the wind. Hyperbole. A hyperbole is a big exaggeration used to show strong feelings or to be funny. Example, my backpack weighs a ton. It doesn't really weigh that much. It just feels very heavy. Key idea: hyperbole makes things sound more exciting or dramatic. More examples. 1. I'm so hungry I could eat a whole cow. 2. My backpack weighs a ton. 3. I waited forever for the ice cream truck. Alliteration. Alliteration happens when the same starting sound is repeated in several nearby words. Example, Bob brought the box of bricks to the basement. The sound B is repeated. Key idea: alliteration makes writing fun and musical. More examples. 1. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. 2. Peter picked a pair of perfect pencils. 3. Lisa loves lemon lollipops. Assonance. Assonance is when vowel sounds repeated in nearby words. Example, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. The E sound is repeated. Key idea: assonance gives rhythm or flow to sentences. More examples. 1. The rain in Spain falls on the plain. 2. I saw a goat in a boat with a coat. 3. The blue moon shone over the cool pool. Consonance. Consonance is when the same consonant sound is repeated in nearby words, anywhere in the word, like beginning, middle, or end. Example, traffic figures on July 4th to be tough. The F sound or F sound repeats in figures, fourth, and tough. Key idea: it gives a beat or sound pattern in writing. More examples. 1. He kicked the bucket. 2. I heard the clock tick-tock in the dark. 3. She laughed and sniffed, holding the gift. Personification. Personification means giving human qualities to non-human things. Example, the rain poured down on the wedding guests, indifferent to their plans. Rain can't really have feelings, but this helps show the bad timing. Key idea, it helps us understand the world in a more personal or emotional way. More examples. 1. The wind whispered through the trees. 2. The alarm clock yelled at me to wake up. And 3. The flowers danced in the breeze. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is when a word sounds like the noise it describes. Example, boom, that's explosion. Tick-tock, that's clock. Ding-dong, that's a doorbell. These words make writing come alive with sound. Key idea, it helps us understand the world in a more personal or emotional way. More examples. 1. The balloon went pop. 2. The bee goes buzz in the garden. 3. The car honked loudly on the street. Figures of speech. These are just some of the most popular figures of speech that writers love to use. They're like magic tools that help authors make their poems and stories more meaningful, more fun, and more beautiful to read. So the next time you write a story or poem, try using a figure of speech. It's like adding sparkle to your words. Now, let's read The Familiar Sounds in Our Home by Rocky James G. Sarasua. Before I sleep at night, my mama would shh, shh, shh. While asleep, they hear me zzz, zzz, zzz. When I wake up, the white rooster will crow. Tik-tilaok, tik-tilaok, tik-tilaok. Our cows would ma, ma, ma. Our ducks would quack, quack, quack. The minute Mayas will tweet, 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 tweet. Our pet brownie will bark, arf, arf, arf. These are the sounds that I listen to every morning. For the breakfast, my mama would heat up a kettle for their coffee. The whistling sound signals that the water is boiling hot as the sun. The crunchy cereals I bite munch. The excited egg in the pan sizzles. And the burp, burp, burp means that I'm full. In silence, the sad shiny silver clock sounds tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Mama's vivacious vacuum cleaner thuds, whoo! The fabulous flower garden has buzzes from the bees. The birds chirp in the distant trees. When the sun sets, my energy resets. It's time to rest like a king. When the moon appears lively and sweet, I am all ears for the stories my mama will tell, for me to feel very well. And before I sleep at night, my mama would shh, shh, shh. While asleep, they hear me zzz, zzz, zzz. And here's the guide questions. 1. As described in the poem, what sounds does the poet hear every morning? Answer. The poet hears the rooster crowing, cows mooing, ducks quacking, Maya birds tweeting, and their pet dog barking. 2. How does the poet describe the sounds of the rooster and the farm animals in the poem? Answer. The rooster crows loudly with a tik-tilaok, tik-tilaok, tik-tilaok. Cows go ma, ma, ma. Ducks say quack, 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 all mimicking their actual animal sounds. 3. What does the whistling sound in the poem signify? Answer. It means the water in the kettle is boiling and ready, possibly for making coffee. 4. Describe the breakfast scene mentioned in the poem. What sounds are associated with breakfast? Answer. The poet hears the kettle whistle, the cereal crunch, the egg sizzle in the pan, and a burping sound after eating, showing that the poet is full. 5. How does the poet mean by the sad shiny silver clock sounds tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock? Answer. It suggests a quiet, lonely ticking sound in the house, especially during a silent moment, possibly showing calmness or stillness. 6. How is the vacuum cleaner described in the poem? What sound does it make? Answer. It is called vivacious, meaning full of life or energy, and it makes a long, loud whoo sound. 7. What sounds can be heard in the fabulous flower garden according to the poem? Answer. The buzzing of bees and the chirping of birds in the trees can be heard in the garden. 8. What natural sounds are mentioned in the last stanza of the poem? Answer. The natural sounds include the calm and quiet atmosphere as the day ends, and the poet listens to Mama's voice and storytelling. 9. How does the poet describe the transition from day to night in the poem? Answer. As the sun sets, the poet's energy resets, signaling it's time to rest. It shows a peaceful move from being active to getting ready for sleep. 10. What feelings or emotions does the poet experience when listening to the stories told by Mama at night? Answer. The poet feels comforted, calm, and happy. Mama's stories help him feel very well before sleeping. Day 3. Lesson activity. From the discussion and the poem above, Learners can now explore and enjoy different poems by identifying the figurative language used, like similes, metaphors, personification, and more. These tools help bring poems to life and make reading more fun and meaningful. Let's read the poem about trees by Joyce Kilmer. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Homes are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. And here's the figurative language used in the poem. Simile, a poem lovely as a tree. This is a simile because it compares a poem to a tree using as. It emphasizes how natural beauty or the tree surpasses even the most beautiful human creation, a poem. Personification. Hungry mouth looks at God all day, lifts her leafy arm to pray. A nest of robins in her hair, bosom snow has lain. The tree is described with human traits: eating, praying, looking, and wearing. This makes the tree seem alive, spiritual, and emotionally connected to nature and God. Metaphor: Earth's sweet flowing breast. This compares the earth to a mother nourishing the tree. Without using like or as, it deepens the image of nature as nurturing and life-giving. Imagery: leafy arms, nest of robins, bosom snow has lain. These lines appeal to the senses. We can imagine a leafy tree, birds nesting, snow on branches, creating a vivid mental picture of the tree's life through the seasons. Symbolism: the tree symbolizes life, nature, and divine creation. It represents the beauty and perfection of what God makes, compared to the limited creations of humans. Alliteration: sweet flowing poems are made by fools. The repetition of initial consonant sounds adds musicality and flow to the lines, making them more pleasant to read. Conclusion: by using figurative language such as similes, personification, metaphors, imagery, symbolism, and alliteration, Joyce Kilmer emphasizes the sacredness, beauty, and divine origin of trees. The poem teaches us to admire nature and understand that some creations, like a tree, can only come from God. Guide questions. 1. What is the central theme of the poem Trees by Joyce Kilmer? Answer: the central theme is the beauty and sacredness of nature, particularly trees. and the idea that only God can create something as perfect and lovely as a tree. 2. How does the poet describe trees in the poem? What words or phrases does he use? Answer. He describes trees as lovely with a hangry mouth, leafy arms, hair, bosom, and as praying and looking at God. These human-like qualities make the tree appear alive, spiritual, and graceful. 3. Why do you think the poet chose to write about trees? What message is he trying to convey? Answer. The poet chose trees to show that nature is a divine creation that cannot be matched by human work, even poetry. He is emphasizing humility and reverence for the natural world. 4. How do trees benefit the environment and living beings? Answer. Trees give oxygen, provide shelter for birds and animals, prevent soil erosion, offer shade, and beautify the environment. The poem hints at their personal and ecological value. 5. In what ways can we contribute to conserving trees and protecting the environment based on what you've learned from the poem? Answer. We can plant trees, avoid cutting them unnecessarily, support reforestation, and raise awareness of their importance, treating them with the same respect shown in the poem. 6. Identify examples of personification in the poem, Trees. How does personification help convey the poet's message? Answer. A tree whose hungry mouth is pressed, looks at God all day, lifts her leafy arms to pray, nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain. Personification helps by making the tree feel alive and sacred, reinforcing the idea that nature is deeply spiritual and deserves respect. 7. What is the difference between a simile and a metaphor? Can you find examples of both in the poem? Answer. A simile compares using like or as, while a metaphor does not. Simile. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree. Metaphors. Hungry mouth, leafy arms, hair, bosom, all comparing tree parts to human parts. 8. How does the poet use imagery to describe trees? What pictures do you see in your mind when you read the poem? Answer. The poet uses vivid images like a tree drinking from the earth, lifting arms to pray, wearing bird's nests like hair, and snow lying on its bosom. These images help readers see the tree as graceful, peaceful, and connected to life and spirituality. 9. Find instances of alliteration or consonance in the poem. How do these techniques enhance the poem's rhythm and meaning? Answer. Sweet flowing S and F sound or S sounds. Leafy limbs. Poems are made by fools. These sound devices create a musical quality, which makes the poem more pleasant and memorable. 10. Discuss the use of symbolism in the poem. What do trees symbolize in the context of nature and environmental conservation? Answer. In the poem, trees symbolize the divine beauty and perfection of nature, something that cannot be replicated by humans. They stand for life, faith, humility, and the power of creation, reminding us to protect and appreciate nature as a sacred gift. Day 4. Learners' takeaways. Fill out the What I Have Learned journal. First, the topic that I already knew. Second, the topic that I just learned. Third, the topic that I still want to learn more. Formative assessment. Instructions. Write true if the statement gives a correct idea and false if otherwise. 1. Figures of speech are important for the beauty of literature. Answer. True. 2. The tongue twister, "She sells seashells by the seashore," is an example of alliteration. Answer. True. 3. How can a clam cram in a clean cream can is an example of hyperbole. Answer. False. 4. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers is an example of consonants. Answer. False. 5. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair is an example of personification. Answer. True. 6. The tongue twister, "Betty Batter bought some batter," is an example of simile. Answer. False. 7. Alliteration is the repetition of initial consonant sounds in neighboring words or syllables. Answer. True. 8. Hyperbole involves extreme exaggeration for emphasis or effect. Answer. True. 9. Simile directly refers to one thing by mentioning another to suggest they are alike. Answer. False. 10. Personification attributes human characteristics to non-human things or abstract concepts. Answer. True. 11. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in neighboring words or syllables. Answer. True. 12. Consonance is the repetition of consonant sounds, especially at the end of a word. Answer. True. 13. Onomatopoeia involves the use of words that imitate the sounds they represent. Answer: true. 14. Metaphor compares two different things using the words like or as. Answer: false. 15. The tongue twister Betty Butter bought some batter exemplifies onomatopoeia. Answer: false. Maraming salamat sa panonood. Huwag kalimutang i-like at mag-subscribe para sa higit pang educational content. I-click ang bell icon para ma-update ka sa ating mga bagong video. Salamat!